get this bitch going. Stupid. Who's on this motherfucker right now? 5 minutes. Who's up in here? Carly Joe, Jason Moore. What's up, dude? Gree. Mark Cody. That's right. The dark side is strong with me. It is. If you want, you can feel free to start dropping your questions, and I will start answering those motherfuckers ASAP. Yvonne, how are you? Yvonne Morales. Haven't shaved. I think I'm gonna let this thing grow back in. That's good. Good questions. Four minutes. Got a few good questions already. Rodney Guajardo Romero. Thanks, man. It's badass. Appreciate that. He says, you guys are the shit. Another band out there measures up to y'all. Hey, Velma. Thank you. Have a great day at work. When we did our last recording in San Antonio, we tracked with Chris Mora, and the San Antonio crew pops in and out every now and again, and I found this bad boy and I stole it. Can you see it? Is it too far? There you go. It's supposed to say Bass. This is my friend Sebastian Elizondo. Stole the pic. Good questions, man. Really good. Rodney Guajardo, badass. San Antonio. Hopefully, if everything goes well, we'll be there at the end of this year, December, with Union Underground. There you go. I read your mind. It's going to be at the Aztec Theater, if I'm not mistaken. The Aztec, because we take some ass. Oh, shit. I can't do that. You're going to have to come back to it, Mr. Moore. You're going to have to come back and rewind. Rewind this motherfucker. My boys come in this room. I'm going to make all kinds of mess in here, so I'm just trying to keep it together. Rodney, hell yeah, dude. Show up, man. Come say what's up at the table and everything, man. Be hanging out. Shots and everything. The allergies acting up. Okay. Got about a minute left. That is a great question that I'm going to have to use a lifeline for. Damn, questions are stacking up, man. Here we go. All right, fuck it. Let's get this thing going. How's everybody doing? Thanks for coming to another episode of Q&A Tuesday. We're gonna get this bitch going right now. Hope you all are staying safe. Hope you're having a great day. Let's get it going. Here we go. First question I see on here is by Mr. Jason Moore. Says, favorite 3 albums of all time. Man. I think I touched on this a bit on the last Q&A, but if I had to choose on the spot right now, I would say the Black Album, Metallica, Reinventing the Steel, Pantera, and maybe the Essential, Stevie Ray. I could jam those 3 fucking all day, every day. If I was on a fucking island, that's probably what I'd take with me. You know, one of those weird questions where they ask you which band you could listen to over and over. Jason Moore asks again. Oh, no, wait. Mark Cody says, favorite song to play live. Man, you know, I think it's either Blame Shift or The Vestry Man. Because The Vestry Man specifically because it has I feel like it's the pivotal point in the set where we're vibing out the crowd. They're either going to dig it or they're not. And I think Vestry Man is a good telltale song if people are into it or not. And then we can adjust our set as needed. So it's like if people ain't digging the heavy stuff, we switch over to a little bit, you know, swingy, bluesy kind of thing. If people are digging the heavy stuff, we stick to the heavier stuff. And if all else fails, we'll throw in a cover or something and dick around at the end just to make sure people leave with a good time and get their money's worth. Mr. Jason Moore asks, best band you've ever seen live. Man, best band I've ever seen live. Shit, man. It's either Sevendust or it's going to be Devour the Day. Just because Devour the Day is a fucking incredible band live. If you haven't seen them, you need to check them out. They're a fucking great band live. So is Sevendust, but I don't need to preach on Sevendust. That's pretty well fucking known that they're an incredible band live. Let's see what else. Rodney Guajardo Romero asked when we're coming back to San Antonio, and if everything goes well, assuming this second wave fucks off early, which it doesn't look like it's calming down, so everybody cross your fingers and all that. We will be ending the year not ending the year, but we'll be playing at the end of the year in San Antonio at the Aztec Theater with Union Underground. We'll be there'll be headlining. So we'll be right before them at the Aztec Theater, and it'll be on as long as shit slows down with this whole coronavirus. Sam Betnowski, what's up, man? Hope you're having a great day, dude. Ricky Richardson asks, what kind of amps does a bass player use on album? Man, you know, I just sent this guy a text. I asked him because that's a damn good question. And live, he uses, I think, a Ampeg SBT something or other. But I'll get the answer from him in a bit. And then I'll come back to that one. Comics and Quests. Wow. Asks, what's the latest song you've learned? The latest song I've learned. Probably that's a good question, man. Let me see. I was learning a string of songs. Oh, it was Hemorrhage by Fuel. I just learned that one. It's a badass song. I dig it. I like the 90s. I like the 2000s. I like all that shit. It's good stuff. Yeah, it's a great song, man. I like learning different shit, different times just to kind of get a different take on how music's written, how people write their tunes, you know, what kind of riffs they come up with and that kind of stuff. It's cool, man. learning tunes like that other people wrote is a good way for you to kind of look through somebody else's eyes and then maybe adopt or learn something from that. So definitely, I like doing that shit. Ruben Salazar asks, who wrote the lyrics for Baptized in the Rio Grande and what inspired that song? Mark writes 99.9% of the lyrics, and it's no different with Baptized in the Rio Grande. He wrote those lyrics, and the Rio Grande Valley is what inspired the lyrics for that song, because we're from a place like a lot of the times when people ask us where we're from, we say McAllen because it's the biggest, most well-known city in the area. But like, for example, Nick and Mike live in McAllen for sure. Mark and I live in Edinburgh, and then John lives in Santa Rosa, which is 45 minutes to 30 to 45 minutes east. And all the cities surrounding McAllen, you know, they go all the way as far as Rio Grande, all the way to Brownsville and all that. It's that whole bottom sharp tip. All the cities make up what's called the Rio Grande Valley. And the Rio Grande River is, you know, what the common misconception is with this song. People think that, you know, you get baptized in the river, but no, we didn't say baptized in the Rio Grande. We say baptized in the Rio Grande. This is the Rio Grande Valley. Or I guess you could say Rio Grande Valley, in the valley, Rio Grande Valle, you know, all that shit, Valle de Texas, all that shit. But yeah, the lyrics are about home. That's where we're from. You know, the ups, the downs, the all arounds, and the motherfucking Browns. I don't know what that means. That's right. Steve Ray Vaughan is the greatest of all time. Hard to argue with that shit. AJ Ramos, what's up, dude? Says shout out from Rockport. Y'all gotta come back to Corpus ASAP. Absolutely, man. We had a date set for House of Rock, but because of this whole second wave, I mean, they're having to postpone dates. Even I think the Machine Shop one got postponed, and a few others, man. So we're working, you know, with all these venues and promoters and that kind of thing to get shows back on the road. But ultimately, the safety of the people is more important than going back out there and making everybody sick, you know, potentially carry some shit you don't even know you have. But we will be back to Corpus for sure, man. That's another spot we like to frequent. Raymond Rose says, say it, priest. I don't know what that means. Maybe you can elaborate on that because I don't understand. Raymond Rose says, Toronto, Canada. Fuck yeah, dude. Canada's badass. Jason Moore says, Mark is the sweatiest person to ever walk the earth. Does he sweat in his sleep? You know what's funny? I sweat in my sleep. Mark does not. But I sweat in my sleep because I like to be covered with like fucking 6 blankets. Danny Colorado, what's up? From the Kilo Nation in Colorado. Oh, I see. He was saying Priest is the best. You know what's funny? He was the question earlier was who was the best band I've seen live, and he was saying that Priest is the best band he's seen, I guess. And you know what? That's a damn good, I'd say, answer, because first time I saw Priest was 2003 in Selma, Texas for Ozfest 03, and it had Slipknot, Lamb of God, Dimmu Borgir was on that, or Demon Burger, as people know him. Slayer was on that. It was original lineup Sabbath and original lineup Priest, and it was fucking awesome. They did Electric Eye, they did fucking all that shit. And dude, he came out in his Harley, you know, the full get up with all the chaps and the leather and all that shit, and the dude just still had it. And to this day, I'm sure he still has it. And the latest album they put out, I think it's the latest album, it has Spectre and fuck, what's the other one? Let me look it up because it's a fucking badass songs, man. Judas Priest. Yeah, Spectre, and then it is No Surrender. I haven't listened to the full thing yet. I've heard a few of them, but the guy still has it. The whole band still has it, man. They tear it up. The writing is incredible. The sound sonically is badass. Everything's badass. The dude tears it up. Judas Priest still has it, man. They're tearing it the fuck up. Chris Allwell. Out of the new songs, do you have a favorite? Was the question. New songs meaning the ones that we haven't released yet, or in general for the ones that we have released already? Let me know on that one. I'll answer your question. Well, I guess I'll do both. For the songs that we have released already, it's either from the most recent EPs anyway. It's either Spoils of War or Resurgence. And then off of the new one, man, in my opinion, it's Preach. I don't know if it's going to be called Preach to the Mirror, but there's a song on there that has a working title called Preach to the Mirror. And that's probably my favorite one in terms of the writing. Like, it's just, you feel that from start to finish. It's great. But in terms of the story behind the song, it's another song called As the Crow Flies. It's probably going to be the title track for the EP that we're going to release. But that one was written on the spot, man. Has to do with current events and that kind of stuff. I don't want to give too much away, man, but has to do with current events. And I think I've touched before on this on a previous Q&A, but I'll touch on it again. There's a song called As the Crow Flies on this new upcoming EP that has not been released yet. We haven't put out any information on it whatsoever. So this is first you'll probably hear about anything, but it's a song called As the Crow Flies. We were sitting in the studio. John was recording Preach to the Mirror, his parts or whatever. And I guess in the back of everybody's mind, we knew that we didn't have the third song. We didn't have, the third song that we're going to lay down, because we initially went in there with the mindset that we're going to do another 3-track EP. So while John's tracking his riffs for the song Preach to the Mirror, again, I don't know if that's what it's going to be called, but so far that's what it's going to be called. That's a working title. As he's laying down his riffs, I was in the other room trying to come up with something, man, brainstorming, some kind of riff, something. And for whatever reason, the riff just flew out. I wrote the theme riff for it, and then out came a verse riff, and then a pre-chorus. A chorus. So it was the theme riff, the verse, the chorus, and the bridge. So it was like, I don't know, 70% of the song, whatever, musically anyway. And I went in there and I told him, hey, man, I got this riff. And then we're like, all right, let's hear it, whatever, lay it down. And it just materialized, one thing over another, just started adding layers. People were adding their parts. The boys put their touch on it and that kind of thing. Mark put his lyrics. Mark came up with some fucking incredible lyrics on the spot, too. It's a song called As the Crow Flies. When it comes out, check it out, listen to it. There's some pretty incredible stuff on there, and it involves, again, current events that are going on and that kind of stuff. But that one it has a special place in my heart just because of the way it came about. It was written on the spot. Mark's lyrics came together with everything, and it's just, there's a special story behind it. Once it comes out, I'll give you the full rundown. But for now, that's all you're gonna get. That's all you're gonna get. But as far as favorite song from the new EP, I would have to say Preach to the Mirror, just because it's groovy as shit. It's fucking groovy, and if you don't headbang, it's because there's something wrong with you. Let me see. Jason Moore asks, favorite food? Mexican, without a shadow of a fucking doubt. There's a little place in Santa Rosa, Texas, called the Village Apartments, where my wife's grandmother lives, and she makes the best fucking food in the world, hands down. I've been to fucking Europe, UK, Japan, all continental 48 states, or Mexico, Canada. I've been a few places, man, and I've had different foods, and I'm a foodie, man. I like to eat and try different foods. There's only a few foods that I won't eat, but and it's great. I've had fucking, I think it was what's it called? Expensive steak from Japan. Fuck. Kobe beef. Fucking awesome. The fucking steak over there, it's best steak I've ever had in my life. But even then, like, I'd choose my wife's grandmother's cooking any fucking day of the week over anything in the world. Like, Mexican descent, everything she makes is with love. And like, if you told this lady, here's some rocks, that's all we have to eat, she'll make you the best fucking rocks you've ever had in your fucking life. That's my favorite food. Eric Benson asks, what amp are you using on these videos when you're jamming? It's a few different things, man. Like right now for this one, I'll plug it so you can see. Right now for like this shit, because it's not straight into the computer, it's fucking this thing, dude. That's it. Nothing special. It's that fucking thing with, plug everything. Oy. With this thing in the front. That's it. I know it's cliche to say. I know it's probably everything you've heard before, but it goes deeper than what you hear on the surface. It really is all in the hands, because I could play this amp, set it up, and you hear me play it, and then John will pick it up and he'll play it, and it'll be two different sounds completely, because we have different approaches. And actually his approach and my approach are what kind of give the guitar sounds their sound. That's what gives Sons of Texas guitar sound its sound. And yeah, man, it's all in your fucking hands. And it's not to say that the skin, or like, it's everything, dude. It's the way you approach the fretboard, the way you pick, the way your mind is set up. If you're confident in what you're playing, fuck off. If you're confident in what you're playing, if you're if you know what you're doing ahead of time, if you're just not on the spot, whatever, when you play, your notes are gonna have some conviction. Whatever is, it's gonna be predetermined, and you're gonna feel more confident. It's gonna sound great. Whenever I do any guitar videos that I'm like doing more in-depth shit, it's this guy straight into the board, Boss GT 1000. It's great. I don't need an amp. I don't need anything in the house, and the baby can sleep without waking him up. You know what I mean? I won't be making noise to fucking scare him or waking up, and the neighbors won't bitch. Steven Taylor, that's badass, man. Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you're having a great day. Have a great day, Jason Moore. I will. I'll tell him to say what's up. Jamie, man, sorry to hear, man. Go back, rewind it, man. Check it out. Come back whenever you get your internet back up. That's cool. Steven Taylor says, I seen Judas Priest supporting Deep Purple last year. That's a hell of a lineup, dude. It's pretty badass. Any questions? Question. Let's do an on-air phone call. Oh man, that's sketchy. I want to, but I don't know if I can. I'll get back to that question real quick. Let's do an on-air phone call to Mr. Nick Villarreal. It's a damn good question. I like it. It says, can you give us one peek at a new riff on the new EP? If it's too early, don't worry. Just really pumped, man. I'd love to, man, but can't give it all away right now. I already gave you song titles. I gave you a little bit of a story. Ooh, must be working. Okay. Questions? Anybody? There's a lot of people on here, but nobody's got questions. Samuel de los Santos, what's up, man? Who wrote the ballad September and what was the inspiration? That song was a full song presentation by Mark. He does these things where he'll show up, with pre-recorded things on his phone or whatever, and it'll be like some acoustic chords and some lyrics with a vocal melody, and we'll take that and then turn it into full band and add our touch, if you will, add our touch to it, and the bass, the drums, and all that kind of thing, and it's built that way. But like the whole song was written by Mark, lyrics, chords, everything. I added my leads. John added his little panache, if you will, on the rhythms, and that's how it went, man. It's the inspiration. To be honest, I feel like it was some sort of something personal for him, which, if anybody's experienced that, is pretty easy to feel what he was feeling at the time, man. I know myself, in my situation, it was a very similar situation. So it felt, I was moved by it, I'll put it that way. That's good, man. That's really good right here. Wayne, I'm not even gonna. Okay, it says Wayne Estep, I assume. Estep. It says, who wrote Cold, Cruel, and Content? A little bit of a backstory on that one. There's a song on YouTube. If you Google Cold, Cruel, and Content Texas or Cold, Cruel, and Content Sons of Texas, the song will come up. And it is a blues song by us under the name Texas. It's a blues song, and it's the only version you'll ever be able to hear that is live, and it was recorded at a bar in Harlingen, Texas called The Hop Shop. We played a show there long ago, right when the Villarreal brothers had joined, and we decided to play that one. We threw it in the set. And for whatever reason, that song was one of the only ones that we got that was recorded and put on YouTube. But that's great because it's kind of like almost like a hidden track, but it's on the internet, man. Go on YouTube, check it out. It's called Cold, Cruel, and Content. But to answer your question, I wrote the riffs. Mark wrote the lyrics. The band put their touches on it, and it's what it is today, man. It's great. It's a fucking cool tune, and it was one of those things where we discussed in the beginning with this band that we didn't want to have limitations. We don't want to be pigeonholed into, oh, they're metal, or oh, they're rock, or oh, it's southern or blues or whatever. We wanted to be able to do everything that we liked, that influenced us, growing up and as musicians and that kind of thing. And blues is a heavy element, especially for myself and for Mark. Blues is a very heavy element. We like Stevie Ray Vaughan, we like B.B. King, we like all the greats, man. And that was our attempt at the time at blues. And maybe, who knows, in the future sometime we will re-record it or put down a new version of it, because it's a cool tune and it's come up before. We have another song that has not been released or recorded anywhere that has a blues vibe to it as well. And maybe at some point we will do a release of those two songs alone or something. Maybe it'll be on another EP, or it'll be just strictly blues, because I feel like that's something that certain people are into that maybe we haven't touched on enough in that element. So we'll see. But yeah, Cold, Cruel, and Content. You can find it on YouTube. Here, let me see if I can bring up a little lookalike, or Cruel and Content, Sons of Texas. Yeah, there it is. I'll give you which one it looks like. It's by El Valle Films. See that top one? Maybe you can see it. You can't. Anyway. Yeah. This is like...
The song is called Cold, Cruel, and Content.
Anyway, that was our... That's pretty cool, man, hearing that shit. I haven't heard that in years. But yeah, it's on YouTube, man, if y'all want to check it out. Hidden track. It's called Cold, Cruel, and Content. And it is under Sons of Texas by El Valle Films. Check that shit out. Where were we? Jamie Krautkremer. Dude, I need like a fucking an audio pronunciation sample of how that last name is pronounced. But his question is, what is the craziest thing that's happened to you guys on tour? Man, there's a few of them. One of the craziest things was we were driving overnight, because sometimes we do what we call deadheading. So it's like if we got to be somewhere the next day after a show early, we will pack up after everything's said and done, and we will drive overnight. We'll take 3-hour shifts, increments of 3 hours. Or if somebody feels tired, we're like, man, don't be a fucking hero. If you can only do 30 minutes, fucking only do 30 minutes, whatever. But we were driving overnight. I was sleeping. Mike and I think Nick were in the front. So the way it works is we have the driver and the navigator. The navigator's job is to provide music and help keep the driver awake while they're driving. If they see, hey, this guy's falling asleep, all right, somebody take over. And the rest of us are in the back sleeping. There's actually 2 other guys in our camp. So it's the 5 members of the band, and then it's Angel Carrera, who's our sound man, and Gabriel Lopez, who is our tour manager, and he handles our merch. So at the time we're driving, and it was overnight, and I'm asleep, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. But I come to, and these motherfuckers are yelling. Like I'm hazy as shit, yelling this and this and that. I look over there, and I get a fucking clear, what the fuck? And I'm like, shit, what happened? So I look up, and Mike is fucking furious, right? So I'm like, what the fuck happened? Trying to figure out what's going on. Everybody's like scrambling, trying to figure out. Apparently, while we're driving in the middle of the night, I'll have to find out where it was, because I don't remember what town and what state it was in. But we were traveling overnight, and there was like one of them 2-lane, I guess a highway or whatever, with like a ditch median, I think, or something was in the middle. I don't think it was like a straight back and forth, but there was oncoming traffic this way and then oncoming traffic this way. And we were traveling, and some RX-8 came from behind us and slammed into the back of our trailer and just wrecked. So I came to, and I didn't realize it. And I don't know if Mike's, like, the guy was able, like, his whole front bumper, the RX-8, the front bumper was fucked. And he was dragging a piece of the front end as he took off. And so the fucking RX-8 took off, I guess, to avoid getting in trouble. I'm like 99% positive that he was fucked up. So Mike's like, let's go after him, this and that, try to chase him. I'm like, bro, okay. Everybody's like, there's a couple of things. One, you're in a 15-passenger van pulling a fucking trailer full of equipment. There's no way you're going to catch a fucking RX-8. 2, if the fucking back door is fucked, everything's going to fall out and we're never going to see it again. So we found a place to pull over, whatever, and we look in the back, and lo and behold, we see this guy's fucking front bumper just slammed into the back of our trailer. And we were like, we got this guy. We fucking got his plates. We're going to find out who the fuck it was. We know it's an RX-8. We called the cops, and the cops showed up. We took a report. They finally managed to pull the bumper off, and it ends up being one of the states that doesn't require a front-end license plate. So we're like, God damn it. Never found the guy. We filed the report, went about our business, drove to Dallas. Luckily, the door wasn't broken to the point where it fell out. So it was just like a massive dent inward. And we're like, don't even deal with anything. Just drive. Let's get a new trailer. We drove to Dallas to John's uncle or cousin's house. I forget the relation. But we went to his family's house. They had a little like a storage unit where we were able to store our trailer and pick up a new one. And luckily, none of the gear was damaged. The trailer was fucked, but none of the gear was damaged. And we got a new trailer on the spot, and we kept going about the tour. We finished, but that for me personally was something that I guess you could say was traumatizing, because I mean, think about it. You're traveling, you're asleep, and then you wake up and you've been in a wreck. You don't even know it. What happens if you wake up in the hospital and it's like a year later or 6 months later, whatever the time lapse is, or shit, maybe you don't even fucking wake up. You get killed in the fucking on the road. You know, it's a frightening thought, man. So anytime we travel overnight now, the slightest movement in the road and I fucking jump up. Like, these guys know that I have trouble sleeping as it is, and then to try to sleep when that's in the back of your mind traveling overnight, because it's dangerous, man. And not my guys make sure they're sober whenever they're driving. I make sure I'm sober whenever I'm driving, but it doesn't matter how well you drive or how sober you are. There's always fucking idiots on the road, and that was case in point, man. The RX-8 guy was fucked up for sure, because he was swerving and doing all kinds of stupid shit. And I'm pretty sure if he was sober, he wouldn't have hit us in the middle of the fucking night. I mean, it's like 3 or 4 a.m. or something like that. And that was one of the craziest things, man. I'm sure there's more stories that we've got. I think I've said the story about me fucking almost dying in 2015 on a previous Q&A. But yeah, that's one of them, man. There's crazy shit that happens on the road, man. If you drink and drive, fucking fuck yourself. It's fucked up. I don't do that shit no more. I used to as a kid. I'm not gonna lie. I was fucking stupid, and then something clicked, and I realized, hey, man, it's more people in the world than you, dickhead. Didn't mean to get dark there, man, but that was one of the stories, and they came to mind whenever they asked that. So, next question. Let me see here. My man Chip Palani's on here. Says, what gauge strings are you using on the new EP? Damn good question. We use different gauges, man. John hops back and forth. This kid like keeps going thicker and thicker and thicker. He's got like a heavy ass right, and his nubs, man, they're solid as shit. So he can tear up some thick ass strings. On whenever we do dropped C, which is the most common tuning for us, which is CGCFAD, I'll use 10 through 52. And then like on this one, we did C sharp, drop C sharp. Yeah, we did drop C sharp. So I use the same gauge because it still has great tension for that. But John sometimes will use like 11 through 54 or 56. And like I've picked up his Charvel. He's got a badass like style 2 San Dimas, I think. And which is like telly shape Charvel. And he has those thick strings and it feels fucking dope, dude. Like the tension's badass. The action is really low to the board. You don't feel like it's, too hard to play. I'm like, how do you get away with so much tension on a guitar and have it still feel great? Like I don't know, it's badass. But to answer your question, we jump back and forth. It's anywhere from 10 to 52 to, for John, it'll be like 11 through 54 or 56 whenever he's in drop C. But for this EP, since we did drop C sharp, we did 10 through 52 again. That's the gauge we use for that. Comics and Quests says, I would fucking love a full-on blues album EP. Man, we might do that. We might end up touching on that because, I mean, maybe not a full album, but we might do like a 2 or 3 song EP or maybe even a single. Who knows? Because we've got a few blues tracks. Like I said, one of them has been unreleased completely. And then the other one that we wrote before in the past was Cold, Cruel, and Content. We compile them, rewrite them, revisit, whatever, and maybe put it together. Here we go. Nick finally answered. The question earlier was what Nick used, our bass player Nick, what he used to record, and he gave me a rundown of what he used for everything we've done so far. So when we recorded our first 2 albums with Josh Wilbur, he used an EBS Fafner 2 for both albums, which is a fucking insane amp. I'd never heard of that before till we went to record with Josh, and we plugged it in, and it was like fucking almost anything you turn and anything you do was like great. Like the sound was incredible no matter which way you turn the knobs. Obviously, you dial back certain frequencies so that the balance in the mix is great. But EBS Fafner 2 for the first 2 albums, and then an Ampeg Kemper Profile for the Resurgence EP. Ampeg Kemper Profile for the Resurgence EP. And then on this latest EP, he used a dark glass preamp module. Yeah, a dark glass preamp module. So there's your answer for that question. Let's see what else we got. Yeah. Wayne Estep says, my wife and I heard it live in Ohio and blew me away. Which one was it, man? You talking about Cold, Cruel, and Content? Because I don't know what you mean. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was the one that asked that question. So, yeah, he's talking about Cold, Cruel, and Content. It's badass, man. Glad you dug that. Ricky Richardson asks, where can I buy merch? Damn good question. The only way you can buy merch from us directly is sometimes we'll open the lines to be able to purchase merch directly from us online. So you can reach out to us maybe on Facebook or whatever, wherever the post is that lets you know that we're open for business. Right now we're not, because obviously we're between tours, so we haven't reordered. And we are in the works of developing new merch so that when we go out, it'll be new stuff on the table and that kind of thing. But if you want to order from us, it's there, man. It's the only way. It's like lately Nick's been doing it himself, but I think it's whenever we do have merch. Right now, I'm not sure what we have in inventory because everything's been in storage, so we haven't toured. But yeah, man, you can order from us directly that way. And the only other way is on tour. If you see these other third-party websites, they get a piece of it, and some of that stuff is not on the table whenever we go on tour. So, and vice versa, with the stuff we have on tour, you can't buy online unless it's directly through us. Samuel de los Santos asks, what's one of your favorite places to play other than Texas? Machine Shop, Flint, Michigan. Hands fucking down. Great venue, great people. There's a restaurant next door called Big John's. I touched on this on the last one too. Fucking awesome, man. And we were going to play there recently, but I think it got postponed again because of this whole virus thing that's going down, the second wave and all that. So keep your eyes peeled, man. We'll definitely be going out again and hanging out and that kind of shit. Paying Attention says, my wife and I saw you guys at the Regal Room last year for my birthday in North Texas. So when are y'all doing another show up here? Again, man, this anything having to do with shows or, live performances will be postponed until we get the okay go for, that this thing has fucked off completely, because we don't want to risk anybody getting sick or being in the area where somebody could potentially get sick or get, somebody with a compromised immune system sick. So right now it's month to month, man, until we can figure out what's going on with this whole thing. It's month to month, man. But we will come back. You can fucking bet your ass we'll be out there again. Paying Attention also asks, will you ever play a Dime Dean in memory of Dime on stage? Not likely, man. They're great guitars. I picked a few of them up and I absolutely fell in love with them. They're badass. It's just, I don't know, man. I never really saw myself playing one of those things. I don't know. It's a badass guitar, like I said, but for me, it's always been a Strat, dude, or maybe Les Paul. Maybe at some point in my life, or in the career, if the circumstances are right, someone just happens to have one, or I don't know, somebody else is playing and I jump on stage with them and they have one. But as far as me personally using one on stage, it's not likely, man. I love Dime. I love everything about Dime. It's not my cup of tea, my dude. I feel like I'd look like a fucking weirdo using that that guitar. You got to be cool to play that shape, man. If you're not cool, we can't fucking play it. Scotty Johnson asks, what three guitarists inspired you to play the music you do? There's a lot of guitar players. You can't narrow it down just to three. But if I had to, on the spot, gun to my head, maybe I'd say Stevie Ray Vaughan, Dimebag Darrell, and Zakk Wylde. But if you want the longer list, Paul Gilbert, Randy Rhoads, shit. As of late, I've been on Instagram lately. If you haven't heard of these cats, I'm going to give you a list of cats that are just fucking insane players. And I'm talking about, like, just incredible. You got Rick Graham, he's from the UK. You got Guthrie Govan, also from the UK. You got, fuck is his name? There's Steven Toronto. I don't know if where he's from, but he's got an accent. I assume UK or Australian, one of those. Steven Toronto is a fucking monster. There's Wes Hauck. He's American. That guy's insane, dude. He's played for The Faceless, and he does shit with Keith Merrill. Keith Merrill's badass too. Andy James is another one from the UK. Just a fucking insane player, man. This guy, all these guys are all clean, like just phenomenal players. But yeah, I went on a tangent there. There's a ton of players out there, man. There's Angel Vivaldi, fucking incredible player. The list goes on and on. There's so much talent out there and so many people out there that just play that are. Mateus, is it Mateo Asadas? Oh, what the fuck, dude? I'm fucking up his name. Let me figure it out. Damn, dude. There it is. Mateus Asado. Mateus. Last name is Asato. The dude is a hell of a player. And it's not, like, a majority of the stuff he does is not flashy. It's not shred. It's not, fucking 90 notes a minute and that kind of shit. But his note choices, his execution, he's articulate, his musicality, everything's great. And on that, there's another guitar player. It's a female. Her name is Lari Basilio. I think she's Brazilian, and she's better than like fucking 90% of the players that I know. She's a fucking brilliant player, dude. If you guys want to get out there and you want to learn some real shit, look up these people. Go back to this video, rewind it, look at the names, find them on Instagram. Fucking insane players. It's great. Comics and quests. I love the covered intro shit y'all do. Who came up with that? Please tell me that shit will continue. I'm not sure what you mean. Can you elaborate on that? Because I'm not understanding the question. Elaborate and I'll come back to it. Scotty Johnson, come to Dublin or Belfast during your next tour, please. It says your, but I'm sure it says tour. Man, we've been talking about it. We definitely want to go overseas again. I don't think I've ever been to Ireland. I would fucking love to go, man. I've seen photos online and it's just a beautiful countryside, man. I'm down to go. I'm sure the beers are fucking incredible too. Jaden Baker, he can use my Washburner Dean even though it's bulky as Dude, Jaden Baker is a hell of a player too. He's a damn good friend of mine. He's family to me. His name's Jaden Baker. He's from the San Antonio area. His parents are badass. The Bakers, Ray and Val, great people. Just anytime we go to San Antonio, we stop there, we barbecue, we hang out, And I've known him for a while. I think since maybe he was 14 or 15 or something like that. I don't remember exactly what age I met him, but he was a kid. Now he's turning into an adult. I think he's 17 or 18 something. And the guy's a hell of a fucking player. Look him up on Instagram or on Facebook. His name's Jaden Baker. He's been on stage with us. He plays my fucking solo. I didn't teach him. He learned that shit. He plays my solos. He plays our riffs. He plays our shit. Every now and again, he'll jump on stage, jam with us. He's a good dude. He's family to me. His name's Jaden Baker. Check him out. Armando1228. What's the backstory on September? Man, I think it's a personal thing for Mark. I think it has to do with the circumstances of him and his upbringing. And to be honest, that was a very similar situation to my upbringing. So it hit home for sure, man. The lyrics are there. I mean, it's pretty obvious what the song's about. Amy, come on. I think you're just trying to make up for that Facebook comment. Oh, my God. Oh, shit. That's a fucking badass question. Check this out. Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. So I got a question here, and my cousin, he asked, off topic, how's the new Kershaw? It's cool. I love it. I'm into the outdoors. I like firearms, knives, and that kind of shit. I like Leathermans. I like tools. I like all that shit, man. I like to go fishing whenever I get the chance. I haven't gone hunting in years, like since I was a kid, probably. But I love all that shit, man. I grew up out here, and that was our upbringing when we were kids. So it's a part of my my upbringing, I guess. But to answer your question, it's great, man. Hasn't let me down. These things are fucking workhorses. It even has a glass breaker on the end. Not that anybody gives a shit, but that's the kind of shit I like. It's cheap, it's not expensive, and it's a workhorse. Samuel de los Santos asks, what inspired you to pick up a guitar, and where did you learn to play guitar? What inspired me was a few events that took place all in the same time frame that really pushed me to want to pick up the instrument. I mean, I guess when I was a kid, I was 4 years old. A little bit of a backstory. I was around that area. I was a kid, man. And my mom's sister, which is my aunt, her name is Janie. She's passed now because she died of leukemia. I think it was leukemia. I was a kid, man. I don't remember. But she used to take care of me when I was a kid. And my favorite movie at the time was La Bamba, Richie Valens, which is Lou Diamond Phillips. He plays Richie Valens in that movie. It's a great fucking movie. And I was always intrigued by that riff, and all that shit. Just for whatever reason, that's something that always stuck with me as a kid. And then she passed. I don't know what happened. I never saw the movie again. Maybe through the years might have got a glance of it on TV or what have you. But I grew up, completely forgot about it. And then when I was in my early teens, we would go to a place called Fantasyland Skate Center in McAllen. And there was a speed skating section of the night where, girls only speed skate. And it was fucking Enter Sandman, fucking Metallica, Enter Sandman. And they would go as fast as they can. It was a girls only thing. And then for the guys, it was Sad But True. For whatever reason, those two was fucking awesome. I always heard it and I was like, man, this is dope. It made you want to fucking skate faster. So the skating rink would have that shit and it would light it up. They would play the speed song, whatever, and you jam for the whole, Sad But True, or for the girls, it was Enter Sandman. And, it's something that stuck with me because of that. But at the time, I wasn't even into that. I was into the fucking gangster rap era. I fucking love anything Dr. Dre does. And I don't give a fuck if you don't like that. I fucking love anything Dr. Dre does. Eminem is fucking incredible. Tupac, fucking that whole West Coast fucking era of rap, the G Funk with all that, Nate Dogg, all that. I love all that shit. I love it. I know it probably seems weird given the circumstances, but it's what I was listening to at the time. So come high school, my friends, I would often see them, different cats with different guitars, but they had acoustics and they would play, riffs every now and again. I was like, man, I've heard that. What is that? They were like, oh, it's this band, whatever. And they would play the riffs that I'd heard on the radio. And then I was like, man, it's just something that blew me away that they were able to replicate what I heard on the radio. And then one day we were sitting in gym class and everybody was doing laps out in the yard. And my cousin and my friend were jamming, back in the day was CD Walkmans with the headphones or whatever. And they were jamming Crazy Train by Ozzy. And they put on the fucking headphones and it was blasting Randy through my ears. And I was like, fuck me, what is this, So naturally, I went out and I told my mom, I was like, I need to play guitar. She was like, no, we can't, this and that. I guess, I don't know if it was her plan to do it, but looking back, it seems like that was the case. She goes, I will get you a cheap little guitar and you will learn on that one. If you can show me that you're really actually interested in it, I'll get you a guitar. I think her plan was to get me the cheap one to shut me the fuck up because my birthday was like, I don't know, a few weeks away or whatever. And she was like, okay, this and that. She gets me a cheap little acoustic. I remember it saying Jasmine in the sound hole. It was a nylon string acoustic, and I picked it up, and it was, to me, it was a piece of shit. It was like $100 acoustic, but it was the best guitar in the fucking world. To me, it was the shit. I loved it, and I kept it forever. And I forget what happened to it. Maybe it broke, or I don't know. And eventually ended fucking off. I don't know what happened to it. And come my birthday, she gets me a guitar. And I show up and it's this teal colored Strat. It's like a metallic teal colored Strat with like a white pearloid pickguard, maple neck. And to me, I was like, bro, like this is the fucking coolest shit ever. Dude, like I was like, I'm never gonna learn to read sheet music. I'm gonna have to fucking learn by ear, this and this, that. My cousin goes, hey man, check it out. This is what's called tabs. You don't have to deal with. It was a Metallica book, the Black Album. You don't have to deal with sheet music. There's tabs underneath it. And I was like, what the fuck? You broke it down to me, and my mind just went, and I learned. And from then on, it was just like, how much time can I squeeze in to practice? How many hours are there in a day? How many hours do I spend awake? And any chance I would get, whether it was 20 minutes or fucking 8 hours, whatever the time span was, if I got the chance to be alone with my guitar, I would just jam, dude, for fucking ever. I know I went off to another fucking tangent, but I guess to answer your question, it was those circumstances that led me to want to pick up the instrument. And then I learned about Kirk Hammett, because I had seen the Binge and Purge. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but I still have that shit on VHS, the Binge and Purge box set. I had it on VHS and I saw it and I was like, bro, Kirk is the shit, yada, 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 jamming. And then I heard Pantera and I was like, fuck, I didn't know that people could be better, than fucking what I'd already heard. And I heard Dime and it was just like the best shit ever. Still to this day, fucking best guitar player ever, in my opinion. Him and Stevie Ray, it's neck and neck. I like them both. They're fucking great. But those were the circumstances that led me to want to pick up an instrument. It's great. Jesus. Marcos Martinez. Have the Suns ever thought of doing a cover album, sort of like the Metallica Garage Days? I've thought of it. I don't know if the other guys have. I would love to do it. I don't know what the consensus is on that with the other boys. It's something we had to talk about, but man, I'm down as shit. I would love to do a bunch of covers and put our own little spin on them. I mean, we do that shit live already. Why not put it on a fucking record? Who knows? Armando1228 says, you'd love Jack Thamarat. Check him out. I will, dude. I'll check him out. Hell yeah. Paying Attention says, all three of the guitar players you named are my top three. Now I know why I love your music. It's the influence that, yeah, man. It's like Stevie said, man, in one of the interviews, they asked him, like, man, if you love me, you'll love Jimmy, because he was a fucking, avid Jimi Hendrix fan, and he was influenced by him. So if you love Stevie Ray, his point was, if you love my music, you're gonna love Jimi Hendrix even more. It's the same thing with me, man. If you like our shit, you'll fucking absolutely love, you know, Pantera, Metallica, fucking so on. Marcos Martinez, Jaden Baker is a cool kid. The dude can shred too. You bet your fucking nalgas, my man. Amy Caulfield, I'll go with you to Ireland. You can go to Ireland, and I will fucking make sure you don't have to pay for any of your passes, but you're not going with me personally. Chip, Jaden getting some love. That's right, man. Got to give respect where respect's due, and shout out my family. Scotty Johnson says, hopefully you get to come over. Would love to see you guys. Make sure you get the main set so we can hear more of your songs. Man, you know what? The main set's cool, man, but I feel like whenever we do support for anybody, it's sort of like there's a pressure there. And that pressure kind of, it's like that saying, pressure creates diamonds. So anytime we've gone out with bands that are bigger, it's like, how are you going to live up to it? Like, let's say if we go out with Sevendust, how the fuck are you going to outperform Sevendust? You're fucking not. It's just not going to fucking happen. You're not going to outperform Sevendust. But you can swing for the fences and try to give it your fucking best shot. And if at the end of the day, you're not going to beat Sevendust, at the very fucking least, you're giving it everything you've got, and you're giving the people who paid for fucking tickets to get into the show their money's worth. So I feel like support spots are fucking great. Headlining is cool, man, because we get away with whatever the fuck we want, but I love the pressure of, all right, we're first of fucking 6 and there's no space on stage. Fuck it, let's go. And we swing for the fences, man. Something about the pressure that really makes us kick some fucking ass. Marcos Martinez says, you said last week Mark was going to be here. He was, but he got tied up with some shit. I don't know what the fuck happened. He was supposed to be on here. Eventually you'll see other guys. I'm sure you're tired of seeing this mug, but eventually you'll see John, Mark, Nick, Mike, and the other guys. This is something that I figured would be a good idea to engage with people who support what we do, our familia, and to kind of get an inside scoop of who we are as individuals and what we do, just to kind of get a closer relationship so that, the people who support us know that we love you guys, man. Like, none of this shit means anything without you guys. Like, I could be on YouTube, and if there's nobody who supports or gives a fuck about this band, I'm talking to nobody. So this shit, all you guys dropping your questions, all you guys showing up to support at the shows, buying merch, whatever it is, man, like, none of anything we do means anything without that. So thank you guys. And yes, you will see the other guys soon. Shit, we might even keep doing this on the road, man. Maybe do like a live Q&A on set, like not during the performance, but at the venue or whatever, Raymond Rhodes says, Jess, Amy will go to Ireland with you. Get her to pay you. No, man. No, she's family. I like messing with her back and forth. She's Chip's lady, Chip Palani. They're a couple. They're good friends of ours. They're familia, supporters of Sons of Texas. They're from the Houston area. And anytime we go up there and we hang out with them, it's just a fucking good time. Actually, on the previous or the one before that Q&A, I touched on the story with Chip and how one of the first times we actually got to hang out was at the video shoot for Expedition to Perdition in Houston at the Scout Bar. He was there. She was there. We're hanging out. I think Chip will have to remind me exactly what happened, but I think he either stage dove or something happened and he fucking shattered his whole ankle. And afterwards, we found out what happened, and I spoke to Amy, and I was like, yo, just give me some info. Can you tell me he's all right? If everything's okay, this and that. Found out he was good. He just fucked up his ankle. No life-threatening injuries or nothing serious, but I mean, my man was out of commission for a while, and we hung out. He came out to a few shows in his wheelchair. We hung out after the set, and that kind of just a great couple from Houston, Texas, that has become familia. And they've even come down to the RGV and partied with us. We showed them a fucking good time with the Boozers. Shout out to the fucking Boozers, man. Love y'all. The Boozers, by the way, are everything. Cooking team, bowling team, softball team, fucking teams, whatever the fuck teams. Anything that you do that's sports related or outdoors related, they're a fucking team for it. And it's the head of the operation is my man JD Noriega. He fucking will cook up a goddamn storm, and they've got some award-winning fucking barbecue. They hang the fuck out. Actually, if you watch the Lock, Stock, and Barrel video, you will see all the Boozers hanging the fuck out in that video. That's them. They decided they want to fucking come up. They're like, yeah, man, let us barbecue this and that. Fuck, you don't got to threaten me with a good time. Let's go. They showed up. They barbecued for everybody. Nobody left sober. It was a fucking great day, and you can see it in the video. We had a fucking great time. All the Boozers are there. Shout out, much love. Anyway, I got off topic again. I fucking go on tangents, man, because I love good times. That's what I'm about. Raymond Rose, where are you? Are you in the UK? Says, wow, I love that knife. Can't get him here. If you're in the UK, it makes sense. Oh, I see. Comics and Quests earlier talked about the cover intro shit. Now it makes sense. He says, where y'all start off covering a band and then jump into your own stuff partway through. Yeah, man. That was just something we decided collectively to throw in just to kind of pay homage to the forefathers and the people that came before us that influenced the band in one way or another, man. And it's, to me, anytime we get a jam bands that I liked growing up, I'm down. It's a good fucking time. So instead of doing full-on covers and shit you've already heard, just maybe a snippet, kind of say, hey, respect to Metallica. Here's fucking Master of Puppets without saying so much. You know, it's just the tip of the hat to the fucking greats, man. That's it. And we will absolutely keep doing that in one way or another. That's fucking cool, man. I'll take a picture of that. Chip says Head PE, brother. Dude, you know what? I still haven't fucking checked them out. I need to check out Head PE. Maybe I've been living under a rock or what, but I mean, I don't got anything against them. I just never really heard their tunes, or if I did, I didn't know it was them. Maybe I have. Raymond Rose, have a great one, my dude. Mitch Turner says, what's up, Texas? Can't wait for the live show in Illinois. Man, I fucking can't wait to get back out there, too. I'm itching to play on the stage, wherever that may be, wherever it's here at home or whatever. We might even do a hometown show. Who knows? Who fucking knows? Are you listening, RGV? We might fucking be all up in your shit. Marcos Martinez asks, who decides which bands you tour with? It's a fucking great question, dude. Next question. Steven Salinas asks, no, I'm kidding. There's a lot of circumstances that go into that. You can't just be like, I'm going to give you the rundown. I know motherfuckers want to know about this kind of shit, and it's annoying because it's not as easy as, oh, well, let's take this band and go on tour with them. It's not that simple. There's a lot of circumstances that are in play when a tour gets put together. For example, we are still a young band in terms of how long we've been in the industry. Metallica is probably, I'm going to rephrase it, they are the biggest fucking band in the world. If they want to go out on tour, right? Let's say, okay, we're going to go out on tour. It's going to be for a month. It'll be the United States, whatever, right? Just for the sake of the argument. Okay, who do we get to play with? Let's take Sons of Texas. Well, that doesn't fucking make any sense. Why? Because nobody knows who the fuck we are yet. We're still building our establishment. We're still getting there. We need to be able to get to a place where there's a demand for the band for us to be able to be valuable to a package for a tour. So if somebody like Metallica goes on tour, we're at the fucking, let's say the list is this long, right? Let me see, get in frame. The list is this long. We're somewhere down here. We're somewhere down here, man, because we don't have enough value to add to a package that's a tour yet. We're building it. As soon as this bitch run fucks off, we'll get back to it. But that's the way it works. Like, for example, another band, I don't know, somebody, fucking whoever, fucking Judas Priest. They're going out and, okay, who are you going to take? Fucking Seven Dust or Sons of Texas? Who has more value? It's just a fucking, it's just it's an illustration and an argument just so that you can understand that it's not just as easy as, oh, let's take Sons of Texas. No, why? You would make more money. Your tour would be bigger. Your audiences would be bigger. You tap into different markets because it's kind of a different genre with Judas Priest and Seven Dust. So Judas Priest's fans will get to tap into Seven Dust fans who might not have known who the fuck Judas Priest was before, which I know sounds crazy, but there's kids nowadays who don't know what the fuck a goddamn tape player is, or a VHS, or a fucking landline, or a fucking rotary dial. So there's fans from this market that might not know this market exists. And when you put them together, guess what? A fucking massive show happens everywhere you go. So would you rather take somebody who's well established, still kicking ass, still relevant, still fucking putting big numbers up in attendance and ticket sales and all that shit, or somebody who's still being established over here and potentially lose money on the tour? Does that make any fucking sense? Yeah. It's not as easy as just fucking Sons of Texas is going out. Let's name some band, whoever. It's not that easy, man. It's got to make sense for the circumstances, for all parties involved. Agents got to get paid, managers got to get paid, venues got to get paid, promoters got to get paid, fucking crew has to get paid, staff at the venues, fucking all these fucking list of people. So the pie is this fucking big, right? And the slices are getting thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. Why would you want to lose out on what's going on? So you need to make sure that the pie that you're getting is going to be fucking massive and not just because they're our friends, let's take them out. It's not the way it works. Especially in this day and age where attendance is dwindling, album sales are dwindling, fucking nobody buys shit anymore because it's online. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's on your phone. Why would you buy a tangible copy unless it's for some sort of memorabilia? I mean, the funny part is that people that come to our shows buy shit. Like, people still fucking buy CDs, but for whatever reason, the majority of folks that are out there do not. I don't know. It makes sense. I mean, you get it for free. Why would you fucking buy it? Unless you support somebody. But that's a short version of the story. It's not as easy as just, let's take this band. Steven Salinas asks, any dream amp that you still haven't played yet and wish to? I don't know about dream amp, but there's amps that I want. I mean, I've come to this point in my, I guess, career that because I've been through a lot, man. I've been through I used to have a Marshall JCM 2000 DSL. I had the first EVH 5150s that were made by PV, the block letter, the signature, what else? We had, I had a dual rectifier twice. I had a Mesa Roadster. I had the 100-watt version of the EVH 5153. Man, I had the JSX. I played the Triple X. I've just countless amps, countless pedals, countless guitars, all this shit I've gone through, and I've come to the realization that any one of those amps would work just fine. It's just the constant need to want to buy new shit, thinking that, somehow this is going to improve my playing, or this is going to improve my this or that. if you go back, here's an example. If you go back and listen to Rage Against the Machine, like, and you played um, through that setup, the fuck, why can't I think of his name? Jesus Christ. Tom Morello, Jesus, fuck. Sorry. If you played through Tom Morello's rig and you tried to play it, it's not heavy distorted. Like it's not compressed. It doesn't have the elements to be able to do like fucking, Malmsteen type shit. You won't be able to play Malmsteen type shit on his rig the way he plays it, the setup through his guitar with his pedals, that kind of shit. But if you hear it on the record, you're like, this is the fucking heaviest shit I've ever heard in my life, because it's heavy because of the elements. It's not just the guitar. The guitar's not even distorted that much. And as a matter of fact, in some of the riffs, he's got the neck pickup. He's not even using the fucking bridge. So it's a thicker, more coily sound, and it fucking adds because of the dimension and in the balance of the mix with the bass. They have a very thick bass sound with a, coily fucking neck pickup sound. If you go back and listen to all that shit, it's not a heavy distorted sound. It's just a fucking Marshall. Like it's a, I don't know, Marshall cab with some sort of amp. I don't know, maybe it's like a JCM 800, but those amps, they don't come the way you hear Zach's version or the way you hear Kerry King's version. They don't come modded that way. This guy had it just plugged in and was able to make it work, and it sounds incredible. If I were to use Tom Morello's guitar, it'd sound like a fucking pile of shit. But if Tom Morello uses it, it sounds great. So the bottom line, dude, it doesn't matter what amp you use. It doesn't matter what guitar you use. You can use a First Act from fucking Walmart. If you know what the fuck you're doing, you can make that shit sound great. If you give it a fucking Satriani or Van Halen, they'll know what to do with it, and they'll make it sound damn good. I'm using the amp that I like. I'm using a fucking EVH 5153 50-watt head, the little fucking whatever, however big it is. And I'm using a Marshall 1960 JCM 900 lead B cab with G12T75 speakers in it. And man, I mean, if I had a choice, I'd probably try different amps, but there's a lot of shit I want. There's a Mesa Mark IV, Mark V, a JP2C Plus, fucking Friedman Runt is a 50-watt tiny fucking head. 50 watts, a small, I think it only has like 2 channels and like, I don't know. It's a fucking small amp. It doesn't have a lot and it sounds great. Like plugging straight in without an overdrive or without anything, just a fucking great sounding amp, but it's like $1,800. I think MSRP is like 1,200. I mean, 2,000 or something. I don't know. But the amp is great. I mean, little amps that I would like to try, sure. But as far as a dream amp, I don't think that exists for me. I just fucking use whatever I've got and fucking make it work to the best of my abilities. I'm using the shit I like. Marcos Martinez, Jaden gave me a guitar pick at Scout Bar. Dude, we just got him some new custom picks. They're the similar ones that we use. I don't fucking think I have any of mine here. It's in the other room. But the little picks that I use with my face on them, we made some custom for him for graduating high school. The dude finished early, and we sent him a little fucking care package as a, hey, congratulations. Keep kicking ass. Here's a little something. And we gave him the fucking pick. So if you see him again, ask that motherfucker for some of those. They're cool as shit. It's my favorite pick ever, man. It's a Jumbo Jazz from Intune guitar picks. Fucking favorite pick in the world right now. It's a fucking, I will jump back and forth between a .73 and a .88. And there's a story behind that, but I don't know how much time we got here. Fuck me, I'm already 13 minutes over. All right, I'm going to run through these last questions if there's any. If not, I got to fucking roll. Ricky Richardson. Fuck, dude, that's cool, man. Reinvented Steel 2000 Tom Morello. Yep. Chip gas, exactly. Gear acquisition syndrome. Tyler Sterling, that's a fucking great question. In the same vein as which bands do you want to tour with? Do those same circumstances factor into which cities you go to? Yes, abso-fucking-lutely. So it goes one way. The headliner determines the route, and that's it. The support bands are there for just that, to support. So, for example, I'm going to say Seether. Seether, when we did the tour with them in Europe, UK, they already had the route, and they put out a fucking thing saying, hey, we're looking for support, whatever. And then people submit themselves to be on the tour, whatever. And we just so happened to get it. And we couldn't say, hey, we want to stop here. We want to stop here. No. The agents, the managers, and their fucking entire team for Seether already determined what the route was. We just get added to support that bill. And that's the way it goes. Like if we went out on tour and let's say, for example, I'm going to say a fucking false name like LaCroix, right? LaCroix wants to come on tour with us and they're like, hey, we want to make sure we stop in Houston. Well, that's not the way it works. It's already been predetermined. The managers and the fucking agents already had that shit going on. And LaCroix already knows, being in the industry, that they don't get to fucking say where the fuck the tour goes because they're a support band. Just like Sons of Texas knows that when we go out on tour with somebody as a support act, we don't get to say where the fuck we do or we don't get to go. That's why whenever we post something saying, hey, we're doing a Texas tour with, or we're doing a tour with LaCroix, and they're the headlining act. And people are on the thread saying, oh, no, Texas, you're from here. Why wouldn't you stop here? It's predetermined by LaCroix that we cannot stop there. Not that they don't want to. It's just that the route's already been pre-established because LaCroix does well in the markets that they decided they wanted to fucking string their tour along. So if they did well in Tennessee and there's no Texas dates, why the fuck would LaCroix go to Texas and play a show where they don't do well? They're better off playing in Tennessee, right? So Sons of Texas has to go play with LaCroix wherever they go because their managers, their agents, and their team put together the tour. That's the way it goes. All right, let me see. Ooh, Chip Palani, message retracted. It's going to be good. I'm sure it was a good fucking message. Whenever they fucking hide messages or take them off, it's because it was good. Too good for TV. Too hot for TV. Samuel de los Santos, do you think Van Halen will reunite with Sammy Hagar? Man, I hope so. I like Sammy Hagar, and I fucking dig the music they made with Sammy Hagar. I love the music they made with... fuck. I'm shit with names right now. David Lee Roth, Jesus. I love the music they made with David Lee Roth, and I love the music they made with Sammy Hagar. David Lee Roth, I think, is experiencing some shit because I heard recently a couple of videos, and my man's just... He sounds like he's got to go get checked up or something. He doesn't sound like his voice is up to par. And Sammy is still kicking dick. I like what Sammy does. The music they made was a shit. I don't understand the whole this guy's better, that guy's better. It's Van Halen. Who gives a fuck? Both guys are badass. Bo Long says, found you guys from Never Bury the Hatchet. Badass tune. You guys should be huge. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. We're working for it. Here we go. Marcos Martinez. Being from the Valley, have Sons of Texas played Padre Island spring breaks? No, we have not. We played on the island. I don't think it was for spring break. Somebody set up a platform where the bands are going to jam. They put up a generator, and we jammed out there. It was awesome and shitty all in the same fucking breath. Why? Because of the sand, the salt, the water, the moisture, the humidity. All that shit was fucking... It made the guitars feel like shit. The amps weren't fucking performing the way they were supposed to because it was a generator and there was like 80 million people plugging into it. And it was a nightmare, but it was a great time. So there's your answer. And since I've got no more questions, I'll have to leave you fuckers. Enjoy the rest of y'all's day. Thanks for tuning in. Next week, I'm going to try to get Mark's fucking hairy ass on here so that he can do the fucking questions and he can give you some insight from his perspective. Or maybe one of the other guys. We'll see. But thank you guys for tuning in. As always, pay attention to the Sons of Texas pages. If you're on this, you're watching me right now, and you're not liking or subscribing to the fucking channel, I'm going to find you personally, and I'm going to fucking kick you in the head. No, I'm kidding. But like and subscribe, all that shit. Tune in to find out what time next week, because Mark might have a different schedule. I choose this time because this is the time frame that I have that I can work with, not be interrupted. Mark might do something in the evening. He might do it in the morning. I'm not sure. But he's got great stories. He's got great answers. You got questions. Thanks for tuning the fuck in, and we will see you next week.